Peter Doocy just asked White House Press Secretary Karine Jean Pierre when the constant Trump bashing will stop from the president, the vice president, and her. And her response might shock you. From Democrats to RINO Republicans, everyone seems to have an opinion on Trump as a threat to democracy. Now, in this video, we'll break down their rhetoric, the lies, and the hypocrisy of the left by pointing out that they are the ones who are causing Trump to be attacked, and that in their own actions, the things that they do when in office are the real threat to democracy. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Rich, your antidote to the daily onslaught of radical woke Marxist propaganda. All right, before we start, please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and smack the like button, because it does help us with the algorithm to get our message out. All right, let's start with the White House. Fox News' Peter Doocy, doing what he does best, just asked Karine Jean Pierre when enough is enough with calling Trump a threat to democracy. Her response, not what you'd expect. They've been saying this for so long, but here, give it a watch.
2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again. And you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat. How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Where do you hear this?
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question.
Well, of course she does, because she's the problem.
The question that you're asking, it is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it.
No, he's asking you why you continue to call Donald Trump a threat. You are the White House mouthpiece.
Because American people are watching. And
they are watching, and they're watching your stupid ass response to this.
To say that from an administration who has consistently condemned.
Here we go with the litany of little things that they claim that they did so that she doesn't have to answer the question.
And political violence from an administration where the president called the former president and was grateful that he was okay.
Wait a minute. Joe Biden said that he was a threat to democracy, so he's grateful that a threat to democracy is okay? You know, they called him Hitler. Are they saying that they are thankful that Hitler is okay, that he wasn't shot?
From an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi.
What the hell does the attack on Paul Pelosi have to do with any of this?
Called out and said we need to lower the temperature.
Then why don't you guys lower the temperature? Do you see this crap? He just said, we have said to lower the temperature, yet you continue to call him a threat to democracy when you know damn right well that he's not.
After the Butler incident, and now for you to make that kind of...
She's trying to turn it around on Peter Doocy. Amazing, guys.
Comment in your question, because your question involved a comment and a statement.
So what?
And, you know, it is...
And you're not going to answer it.
That is also incredibly dangerous.
So she didn't answer the question in the end. And guys, this isn't the first time she's been asked this question.
The view is that Trump and the MAGA Republican agenda is a threat to democracy. So how do you get that message across while bringing the temperature down? How is that phrasing going to be replaced? Is it going to be replaced?
Well, look, what I can say is this. We have our differences, and it's okay to have our differences. And it is okay to speak to someone's record, to speak to someone's character. That is...
Not when you make it up out of whole cloth.
That is the difference of... that is important to be able to do, to show, right, what the American people, what you're all about.
And you don't like it when Donald Trump says that you guys have destroyed our economy, you've destroyed our military, you've destroyed our energy sector.
We're just,
listen.
We're just going to continue to denounce violence. It is important to do that, forcefully be against violence.
In other words, guys, she just said, we're going to continue calling Trump a threat to democracy. We don't care what the ramifications are. And guys, it's not just the Democrats fueling this hateful rhetoric against Trump. Enter little Adam Kinzinger, who, let's face it, might as well have gotten his Democrat membership card by now. He's parroting the same line. Trump is an existential threat to democracy. Existential, really? You've got to wonder who's writing their talking points. Well, watch this. And let me know if you think it's scripted.
Today, you announced you are endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris for
Anybody
president,
not see
and you
that
joined
coming?
a number of fellow Republicans to kick off
They're not Republicans, they're RINOs.
Republicans for Harris. Tell us why.
Well, I mean, it's really easy. Look, if
Really
you're a
easy.
conservative, a real conservative that believes in things like the Constitution,
Well, Adam, hold on. Slow your roll there, buddy. You don't believe in the Constitution. How do we know? Because you sat on that unconstitutional January 6th committee where you violated due process rights, where you withheld exculpatory evidence, where you guys manufactured evidence, where you lied left and right just to trash Trump. You don't like Donald Trump. You and Lizzie Cheney don't like Trump. So you joined this committee just to be able to get even with him. You violated all kinds of rules. You violated the Constitution. So don't give us that bullshit that you're a real conservative who likes things like the Constitution.
principles this country was founded on. I mean, you can
Dude, you withheld exculpatory information. That's part of the principles that this country was founded on, you jerk.
disagree with Kamala Harris on policy issues, but really the threat that's really near to us is, does democracy survive? And I don't.
Has Kamala been shot at? No. Trump twice. It's because the left gives the rhetoric that the Trump side doesn't. When Donald Trump talks rhetoric against the left, this go around in this presidential cycle, what he's doing is just reading off the record, the disastrous record of what they've built for the last 4 years.
I don't mean that like esoterically or to be like dramatic, but
Sure you
when
do.
you think of the last election and the fact that Donald Trump convinced a significant amount of the country that trusted him, that put their faith in him, that an election was stolen.
It was stolen. There's a plethora of evidence that none of you jackasses ever even wanted to look at.
When it wasn't stolen.
Yeah, it was stolen.
When you convince people that the system doesn't work and that your voice isn't heard,
The system doesn't work and your voice is not heard when you steal an election.
you do real damage to self-governance. It's
No, you did real damage by putting up with that bullshit, by allowing them to get away with it because of your TDS.
really hard to self-govern if a significant amount of the country believes that their voice isn't heard, their vote doesn't count. So
It doesn't.
in my mind, there's
Not when you guys are in charge.
no doubt Donald Trump is a clear threat to the future of democracy, the
Oh, there you
future
go.
faith of democracy.
Let me ask this, guys. Which president censored the living shit out of free speech on social media platform? Wasn't Donald Trump. That was Joe Biden, right? Which president and administration created a disinformation governance board? Again, Donald Trump never did that. That was Joe Biden.
And Kamala
By that matter, which administration did a vaccine mandate for experimental medicine? Was that Donald Trump or was that Joe Biden?
Harris has made it clear that she supports it even when we disagree on things. That's what democracy is about. It's about disagreeing. And also, by
Guys, you guys don't just disagree with Trump, you take shots at him.
the way, another big thing, she supports Ukraine's victory against
Oy vey.
Russia. And Donald Trump has been very clear that he instead admires Russia. So that's why.
He never said he admires Russia. He said that he admired Putin for the simple fact that the man is tough, unlike Joe Biden. That's what he said. And that's not paying a due compliment to the scumbag Putin. He was saying that Putin comes off as a tough, hard leader, which is what Trump admires. Joe Biden is a weakling. Joe Biden was dragged off the campaign trail by Kamala's thugs. Talk about wanting some kind of democracy. They took a man who had 14 million votes and installed a woman who got not one. Now, speaking about scripts, let's talk about the Lincoln Project. Remember when they used to claim that they were the true conservatives? Yeah, now they're just a bunch of RINOs who can't handle that Trump won't bow out to the left. Rick Wilson is out there with more of the same. Trump is a threat, blah, blah, blah. If Abraham Lincoln were alive today, he'd probably sue them for defamation. This clip is only 9 seconds long, but what a 9 seconds it is. Check it out.
And the donor class can't just sit back on the sidelines and say, oh, well, don't worry, this will all work itself out. They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. And that's a fact.
Did you hear that? They're going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. And yet we are the ones who are violent. So here is Massachusetts Democrat Representative Jake Auchincloss, who actually says that Trump is what unifies the Democratic Party. But give it a watch.
And what unifies us as a party is knowing that Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy.
Oh, really? That's the irony there, right? Auchincloss saying Trump is a threat while supporting policies that undermine democracy on his side of the aisle. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You just can't. All right, so I'm going to slip this real quick clip of Hillary in because I want to show you who really is against democracy.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged.
Can you believe this shit? She's suggesting that Trump supporters could be charged with crimes for misinformation. If that's not the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. Imagine if her husband said the same thing Trump did. It wouldn't be a crime then, would it? And speaking about things that the Democrats do that are against democracy, how about the way Democrats are treating the January 6th defendants? Many of whom, let's be honest, were guilty of nothing more than trespassing after Capitol Police practically waved them into the building after opening the doors for them. But now the Biden regime talks about re-education camps for these so-called political prisoners. You heard that right. Re-education camps. Sounds like something from a dystopian novel, doesn't it? Give this a watch.
Listen, we released in this document. Contained in here is the re-education material that was provided to the January 6th defendants. And if you start reading through just the titles alone, you'll start to quiver. I did.
It's unbelievable.
I was very upset.
You mean this is systematic? They're trying to reprogram them while they're there.
This is the reprogramming information given to them on their
1984, anyone?
Like once upon a time in prison, you would take a class on plumbing or an electrical or trade. You would do
when you get out, you'd
another
have a living.
language. They were actually given credit for taking classes on. May I share a couple of titles?
What do you hear? This
Taking
guys?
classes on information such as
the Biden administration did this.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to say something else. Well, Kara, will you find that section there, please? So these were re-education materials distributed to them about Trump's big lie. Well, how the election here. Oh, here we go. Trump's crimes before he called for the attack on our democracy. Donald Trump, how he has attacked our democracy. Negligence, obstruction, rape, tax evasion. These are actual lesson plans. Take a look at the tablet. Ask them to show you.
Unbelievable, guys. This is like Mao when they had their cultural revolution, trying to force the people who have unacceptable views to rethink their entire ideology by force. Let's circle back to the big picture for a second. The Democrats and their allies in the media love to keep pointing to January 6th as proof of conservatives being the violent extremists. Yet conveniently, they ignore all the leftist mobs that have terrorized cities across the country. Anyone remember 2016, 2017? There was a riot during Trump's inauguration in Washington, D.C. Cars were set on fire. You guys conveniently forget that on the left. Maxine Waters was inciting mobs by telling her supporters to go after Trump administration people. Hillary giving her tacit approval. And don't even get me started on that nut who tried to kill Brett Kavanaugh, went to his house to kill him. But sure, Trump supporters are the real threat, right? So here is Joe Biden, President of the United States, giving a speech very recently, or should I say the most divisive president in history, giving one of the most divisive speeches in history. Give it a watch.
Donald Trump is a genuine threat to this nation.
President of the United States tells all the libnut wackos out there watching that Trump is a threat to the nation.
He's a threat to our freedom.
To freedom.
He's a threat to our democracy.
Democracy.
He's literally a threat for everything America stands for.
Literally a threat for everything America stands for. Unbelievable. Remember when they said Obama was divisive? Biden makes him look like Mr. Unity. The left's favorite pastime, calling Trump a threat to democracy, and Joe's leading the charge. What's the plan here, guys? Keep calling him a threat until the cows come home, or until that third time is a charm? Is that what's going on? And there are an awful lot of other clips out there that I could have played of Democrats and leftists throwing vile, heartless rhetoric full of lies against Donald Trump. And I can say with 100% absolute certitude that these scumbags know that Donald Trump is not a threat to democracy and that Donald Trump is not Hitler. How do I know? Because to a person, they all went on the air and said that they were so thankful that Donald Trump was not hurt after the second attempted assassination, probably coordinated by their people. So all you have to do is ask these clowns, so you're happy that Hitler wasn't hurt? You're actually happy that Hitler wasn't shot and killed? So you are thankful that the man that you continually say will end our democracy as we know it wasn't harmed in the second attempted assassination? What a bunch of lying losers these left nuts are. The fact of the matter is, leftists throughout our history have been the violent ones. You don't see MAGA people out there on the streets wearing all black with the balaclavas, covering their face, carrying baseball bats and beating the hell out of anyone who says a prayer publicly in a park or who supports Trump. That would be the lefties. I didn't get into the videos that were swarming all over the internet of people who were assaulted just because they were wearing a red MAGA hat. You don't have videos like that of people wearing Biden hats or Obama hats. Yeah, you may have an idiot or two who would do something like that, but the prevalence was always leftists attacking conservatives and Trump supporters. And so far, it seems that every time you try to confront Democrats and others on the left, it is their hateful rhetoric against Trump that is causing people to attack him. This is the kind of responses that you get. And it's all part of a bigger strategy, guys. The left is pushing this narrative for years now. They know Trump isn't a threat to democracy, but they've got to keep the fear-mongering alive to distract you from their own failures. And in their minds, the best way to do that is to keep Trump from being able to win in November. They've tried everything they know, which is lies, deceit, demonizing him. None of it has worked. The lawfare hasn't worked. And watching the extinction burst coming from the libnuts when Trump didn't cower to their demands was pure heaven. But so many of them are telling us that they're going to continue pushing the hateful, vile rhetoric against Trump, saying that he's a threat to democracy. Maybe some wild-eyed libnut of a lunatic will step up to the plate and try to make that third time a charm. It's transparent and it's pathetic. So the next time a lefty gets in your face and tells you that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy and that's why he keeps getting attacked, just take a deep breath, look them square in the eye and say, it's your rhetoric, stupid. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with the latest political insanity coming from the left. I'll see you in the next one. Spread the word.
Too many secrets, too many closed doors, we're sick to cover-ups. We're sick of the cover-ups, want the truth and nothing more. Who fails, spend it's dead, the jig is up, no more drinking.